death, the mysterious part of life, how life ends. Or does it really end? What happens? Where do you go? Let's talk about it. There are lots of confusing things about death that cause people to make decisions that could lead to death. And we're going to break up a lot of these today. Listen, I know there's a whole lot of preface I'm giving. I know. I'm going to get right into it. Just give me a second. There's going to be some things that I say that shake you to your core, things that you'd never heard of before in regards to death. It's the truth. And because it's the truth, you need to know. And the first one is dead people don't know anything. You remember that I hear dead people. You're not hearing dead people. Dead people know absolutely nothing. There's no need to go to the gravesite and visit them. You're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for them. If you feel that you're doing it for them to make their afterlife comfortable or to give them back something that you were not able to give them when they were alive, you're wasting your time. If you're doing it for yourself now because of some guilt or some missing or something else, then fine. If you expect them to recognize that you've driven 50 miles up the highway in the cold rain and put flowers on their gravesite, they don't know. Dead people know absolutely nothing. And if you run into a dead person, it's one of three things. It's either they faked their death, they're not really alive, they're in the witness protection program somewhere, and they just popped up to see how their family is doing. While they were looking through the window, you saw them. Oh my gosh, there's a dead person. It's either they fake their death and you happen to glimpse them because they're still alive, or two, you're hallucinating some sort of drug, some sort of septic state, some sort of illness is causing you to hallucinate, or three, this is a devil or a demon that you're seeing. Dead people do not know nothing. They do not roam the earth. They do not come back to visit their family. End of story. Number 2. Everyone will die. I'm saying that flippantly, or am I? I'm not. I'm speaking the truth here. There's no reincarnation. Everyone will die. Now, there is one exception. If you are a righteous, good person, when Jesus comes back, you will be taken up to heaven with him. If you're a bad person, then you will, even if you're alive when Jesus returns, you will be burnt up and incinerated with the devil and his imps. You have no control over when you die. You may have some control over how quickly the death comes. That's just beyond you can control how your life is. There are some aspects of it that you can control, but you can't control when you die or not. If you kill somebody, you're a murderer. If you kill yourself, you're a murderer. Don't fall into some of these traps glorifying self-deletion, suicide. Everyone will die. You have no control over it. Enjoy your life. And that brings us to number 3. You don't know when death will occur. You have absolutely no idea when it will happen. It can happen to young people. It can happen to old people. It can happen to the very sick. It can happen to the very healthy. You don't know. And that is part of life. You didn't know when you were going to come alive. Life is the gift here. Make sure that you enjoy every single aspect of living. Don't spend your time worrying about something that you cannot control, worrying about your death. You know, let me back up and say there are parts to it. You can do some things to hasten your death if you live unhealthily, if you live dangerously, like these guys I'm looking at on this Instagram. We're going to talk about it afterwards. Uh, you can do something to live life in a very reckless manner. You can. I'm admonishing all of you to love life. You don't know when you're going to die, and just love every second of the life you have. Number 4. Dead people do not go to heaven. I know this one is hard for a lot of people. It's something that's talked about in a lot of Christian religions, and unfortunately these are people that were told this story. These are not people that have studied the Bible for themselves. They've continued this myth, and it's just passed on and passed on. It's supposed to be a Christian based belief. So all the Christians out there that believe you go straight to heaven when you die, wrong. No. Study your Bible more if you consider yourself to be a Christian. Dead people do not go to heaven. They lay in the grave and disintegrate to dust from where they came. When Jesus comes back, if you were a good and righteous person and Jesus, God, judged you as such, then you will go to heaven. When Jesus comes back in the second coming, if you're judged as an evil and bad person, then you will be incinerated. End of story. Nobody's in heaven watching you and protecting you. Only the Lord himself. Number 5. Death is described as a sleep. You ever hit your pillow and next thing you know, it's with morning? That's what death is. Your breath stops, you die, and the next thing you know, you'll see is Jesus returning on the clouds of glory. That's it. It's will seem like you just laid down. It's a sleep. Well, those are the 5 things that you need to know. 1, dead people don't know anything. 2, everyone will die at some point except for the righteous people that are alive when Jesus returns. 3, you do not know when you're gonna die. 4, dead people are not in heaven, whether they're good or bad. They're not in heaven. They're still down here rotting in the grave. They're not existent anymore. They cease to exist. And 5, it's described as a sleep-like state. At least that's how it will feel to a person after they die. They bam, go to sleep. Next thing you know, oh, Jesus, you're here? Do I get to go with you or do I not? If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Let me know any subjects that you'd like for me to go over in the future for you. And also, what are your thoughts on debt? Let's hear it. Let's talk. And now you all know what it is.